Alright, so I want to show what's wrong with Assault Spy bosses. Right now, the main issue is just how much they spam attacks, especially projectiles, off-screen, and the player doesn't get any sort of a satisfying punish. I feel like he needs to take more design inspiration from bosses like Kratos and Virgil, where they had powerful attacks, but when you actually did hit them, you could do a sizable amount of damage, and you had at least a little bit of time to combo them. Here, it feels really inconsistent. Not only do they have armor, they also block from the front, and when you hit them, it's not uncommon for them to just tech out really quickly. The combo system feels pretty much pointless on them. Most of the air moves you can't really use on them safely, and also due to the way that the lock-on is designed right now, especially this boss in particular, I think this is the worst boss out of the bosses that he's added in this new patch. What he does is he teleports, he goes off screen, he teleports, and he spams projectiles. Now, he did add a just dodge mechanic, which is supposed to give you some iframes when you dodge something, but when the boss and the enemies are just spamming projectiles non-stop, but even the umbrella doesn't help. This reflects projectiles, but the problem is that on the bosses, it doesn't do anything. Like, it just goes through them, and if it does do damage, it does like 3 pixels of damage. It doesn't feel right. I feel like if I take the risk to do this, because this attack right here, you can see how long the startup is. Now the air one takes a little less time, and then this move comes out pretty much instantly, but either way, when you reflect it, there's no like reward for it. I mean, it's far better to just go into overclock or clock up and just dash behind them while you're invincible than it is to do this. The whole reflect mechanic, it just doesn't feel like it works properly. I feel like if I manage to reflect the endless projectile spam, I should be rewarded for it. The boss or the enemy should be staggered for a short period of time, and I should be able to get at least a quick combo. I think that would make this fight a lot better. But right now, the way it is, it's extremely frustrating. What's worse is that when he gets down below half health, he goes into this powered up mode, and he gets like even more armor from what I've seen, and he spams even more projectiles. And what's worse is that he starts doing it off screen more often. It feels really imbalanced. Like, the worst part is I've been stuck on this boss for hours, and pretty much every time I have like a near perfect fight, is he goes into that powered up mode and just spams non-stop, and you can't even really do much damage to him. You pretty much have to rely on your overclock to dash behind him. So I'm gonna go ahead and show how frustrating it is. I'll do like 1 or 2 fights. I'm starting to reach my limit here. Just how frustrating this fight is. Of course, there's a cutscene before it too. See, like right now, he's pretty controlled. Like, he has like a very clear vulnerable phase, but the problem is you have to get behind him. If you try to attack him from the front, he's basically in hyper armor. Like, he'll take damage, but he won't stagger. I'm not sure why it's designed like that. I think when they have like a very clear vulnerable animation or taunt, it should be like Wizard of Legend, where you can actually hit them for a certain period of time, and the reflect mechanic should actually give you more of a stun as well. That would make this fight a lot of fun, actually, but right now, it feels like you don't get much of a reward for playing properly. He has melee attacks. He has like 1 melee attack, but he almost never uses it. This is that attack right there. Like, see, I actually hit him. I hit him there. But the problem was because it was from the front. He's in armor, and I can't do anything about that. Even if you do just dodge, he spams so many projectiles that you're just going to get hit anyway. And you can't really tank hits in this game. You can only get hit like 4 or 5 times. He almost never does his melee attack. That's one of the only attacks he has that immediately punishes him. That's all you get off a punish. You get like 10% damage if you're lucky. And if I reflect it back, it either goes the other direction or it doesn't do anything to it at all. gets like even more spammy after he powers up. Yeah, see, like right there, that's another thing that's really annoying. Is you just be in armor from the front. I'm not sure why it's designed like that. I feel like if he's vulnerable, he should be vulnerable. It shouldn't matter from front attack, especially when he's not attacking. Also, the projectiles have like really generous hitboxes too, better than any of your hitboxes. Alright, here we go. Here's his spam mode. Like that. I don't know how you're supposed to defend against that. Even if you just dodge, there's like 10 other projectiles coming at you. It's so stupid. The other bosses were pretty annoying too, but this guy is just the epitome of unfun and unfair. I think one of the biggest mistakes you can make with a character action game, or even a beat 'em up, is like when the player has a clear opportunity to punish the boss and you can't get anything off it, and it doesn't feel like, you know, your just dodge or your parry, or in this case, you know, getting behind them and landing the combo is actually rewarded. That's kind of the problem with this right now, and most of the moves you have are basically useless too. It doesn't help that your hitboxes are very honest and theirs aren't. I don't know what happened there. He just tanked it all and then started spamming projectiles again. I've been stuck on this boss for hours. It's like I can't buy new moves or like start playing again until I beat this. And every single time I have a good attempt, he goes into that powered up mode and then just starts spamming like crazy. It feels like I'm hopeless. I just can't do much. This game has such a weird emphasis on off-screen projectiles, and he is the worst of that mechanic. Like, he'll constantly teleport behind you, and even if you do manage to just dodge, which is really difficult, there's no, like, reward for it. I mean, maybe you get, like, a little meter or something, but since he's spamming so many projectiles, you're just gonna get hit by the next one. I don't know why the boss is designed like this. I wanted to do like speed runs of this level and stuff, but with this boss the way it is, I would just be stuck here for hours. And what makes it really demoralizing is the fight is pretty controllable until he gets in that powered up mode, and then he starts spamming even more, and he starts doing it off screen, and he'll teleport right behind you and go off screen. And like Asadu doesn't really have anything that could deal with that. I mean, the most that you could do is reflect it, but like I said, he just tanks it. He doesn't really get stunned or staggered by it at all. Anyway, I just wanted to make this for the developer. I think this boss is really frustrating. I think the bosses need to take a new direction in general. They need to give the player, like when they actually give the player an opportunity to attack, it needs to be meaningful. We actually need to be able to like parry and, you know, kind of stun them from their attacks and stuff. I think that would make the boss fights way more dynamic. Right now, it's pretty much you just have to hope that you get behind them and hope that they don't block it. And if they don't block it, you have to hope that they actually stay staggered, because that seems random too. I think he needs to come to some kind of compromise, you know, allow you to combo, you know, let a skilled player do more damage than, you know, somebody who's just starting to play the game. You know, obviously you don't want them to just be infinite combo to death, but there needs to be more of an opportunity to actually use most of the moveset. Like with that fight, basically all I could do is I can hit him twice, launch, and then do an air combo. If I try to do anything else than that, it's risking him teching out and then just immediately teleporting behind me and spamming. It feels really unsatisfying. I feel very limited. Just doesn't feel like I have much control over the battle at all. It feels like the boss has way more options than I do. Anyway, that's it. I'll probably do some gameplay of the regular fights if I can ever beat this dumb boss. Thanks for watching. Peace.